What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. I've been playing a bunch of Rek'Sai on the PBE and she's quite a cool champion, and I think she's pretty strong too. So here are my first impressions and analysis of Rek'Sai. Now from what I can tell, Rek'Sai is by all means intended to be a jungler, and she's definitely a good one, but I can honestly see some potential for her to be played as a support based on her kit. Anyways, her kit can be a little bit confusing, but it's pretty easy to get used to. She has this mechanic where she burrows, causing your abilities to change and giving you an indicator of nearby enemy champions. And when you pop out of your burrow, you knock up nearby opponents. Now, the indicator that you get when burrowed just shows the location of the enemies. The champion still stays in the fog of war, but in reality, that's not that big of a deal. The huge range on this indicator is really powerful, and it's insanely useful. You'll see throughout that Rek'Sai is a kit that focuses on being a great counter jungler and ganker. Her Q is the main source of her damage, and so it's probably what you're going to want to max. The W is simply her burrow, while her E, when unburrowed, is just a single target attack, but when burrowed, it creates a passageway on the map. You can have up to 8 of these tunnels on the map, and each of them lasts for 10 minutes, and you can reuse these tunnels every 12 seconds. This is her mobility, and it's absolutely crazy. You can set up paths for counter jungling, gap close for ganks, escape, and just move around the map so efficiently with this, since you can continue to reuse the tunnels. Now, enemies can remove the tunnels by stepping on them, but for the most part, especially when you're in the jungle, you're creating so many tunnels that usually at least half of the ones you make will stay on the map for pretty much the entire 10 minutes. Her ultimate allows you to teleport to a tunnel while also giving you a lot of bonus attack speed. I found her ultimate to be somewhat difficult to use, but it can be pretty crazy. It's essentially just a teleport. You can make some great plays with it, but it is hard to set up. Overall, I think Rek'Sai is a pretty strong champion. She clears camps quite quickly and has great ganks due to her mobility and what is essentially targeted crowd control with her burrow. It's pretty difficult to miss the knock-up coming out of burrow since you unburrow by auto-attacking the opponent. So you have strong targeted CC from pretty much level 2 or level 3, meaning her early game is quite solid and her early ganks quite strong. Her damage as well is pretty solid on her own, so her dueling ability isn't that bad, especially since it's easy for her to chase or escape if things go sour. She can have a little bit of trouble early, so try to get a good leash from your teammates, but the ganks are fairly easy to pull off and it's very doable to have a huge presence on the entire map. And her counter jungling is just insane since she clears the camps quite quickly once you get to around level 4 or so, and her passages make it easy to get out of a sticky invade. Now her kit is a little bit weird at first, but it's actually quite simple once you realize that the only interesting things are burrowing and using passages. The Q really just does damage whether or not you're burrowed, as does the E when you're not burrowed. Setting up the TP plays with the ultimate can be a bit difficult, but it's quite doable to get a lot of flanks off with this ability. So if you get ahead in the game, you can just dominate teamfights completely by easily flanking your opponents. One thing to note is that while burrowed, you lose a pretty significant amount of vision around you and instead have to rely on the indicators of enemy champions. Now, this can sometimes be a problem, so the vision aspect of being burrowed can take some getting used to. Either way, it's worth noting that opponents can see you when you burrow, but they cannot see the range on your vision indicator, so it makes face checking and controlling vision really easy. Rek'Sai is probably the best champion in the entire game at controlling vision, since you will never have to face check a bush when you have her on your team. As far as the build goes, I do have to say that what I built on her is almost completely, for sure, not correct. I kind of was just trying out some items. I think looking back on it, going Skirmisher Saber into the Devourer upgrade is probably the way to go to make her counter jungling pretty strong, as well as her dueling, and then picking up some tank and or damage depending on the game state at the time. Anyways, my name is Jeremy, and that's it for my video on Rek'Sai. Be sure to check me out over at twitch.tv/Jeremy_gamingcurios. Stay connected at facebook.com/gamingcurios. Tweet me at gamingcurios. Drop a like, share this video, and make sure to subscribe for some more awesome content in the future. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.